There's a difference between someone who dislikes you and someone who quietly wants to see you fall. Hate is loud, it argues, it exposes itself, but destruction is patient. Have you ever noticed how your energy started fading around a certain person? Your confidence weakened, your clarity blurred. You began second-guessing decisions you once felt strong about, without any obvious reason. That's not random. Some people don't want to beat you in public. They want to erode you in private. Slowly, subtly, strategically. They smile, they listen, they stay close. And all the while they are studying where to apply pressure. Stoic philosophy has warned about this for centuries. Not enemies on the battlefield, but those who stand beside you while hoping you lose your footing. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, be wary of those who corrupt without appearing to harm. Because the most dangerous intentions don't announce themselves. They disguise themselves as concern, humor, or harmless opinion. This video is not meant to make you paranoid. It's meant to make you clear. Today, you'll learn 7 unmistakable signs that someone doesn't just hate you. They want to destroy your momentum, your confidence, and your direction. Not so you can confront them, not so you can react emotionally, but so you can withdraw power, reclaim control, and move forward without dragging their influence with you. Stay until the end, because the final sign's the one people ignore the longest and pay for the most. 1. They undermine you quietly. Destruction rarely starts with open hostility. It starts with small, almost invisible moves. A comment that sounds harmless, a joke that lands slightly wrong, a remark that makes others hesitate and slowly makes you doubt yourself. They don't attack you directly. That would expose them. Instead, they say things like, "I'm just being honest." You're overthinking it. "I didn't mean it that way." Individually, these moments feel insignificant. But over time, something shifts. People stop looking to you for certainty. Your ideas carry less weight. Your confidence feels less grounded. And that's not accidental. Someone who wants to destroy you understands this truth. Respect doesn't collapse suddenly. It erodes quietly. Stoic philosophy teaches us not to focus on intentions, but on patterns. Not anyone can claim good motives. Only behavior reveals strategy. If someone repeatedly minimizes your achievements, subtly reframes your competence as arrogance, or questions your judgment in front of others, they are not misunderstood. They are calculated. This kind of person doesn't need to defeat you openly. They want others to doubt you first, and eventually they want you to doubt yourself. That's when the real damage begins. You hesitate before speaking. You soften your opinions. You explain things that never needed explanation. Here's the Stoic shift. Stop asking, "What did they mean?" Start asking, "What effect does this have?" Repeatedly. Meaning can be denied. Patterns cannot. A Stoic doesn't confront every subtle attack. They observe. They notice who consistently subtracts confidence instead of reinforcing it. Who leaves conversations feeling smaller, uncertain, or off balance. And when the pattern is clear, the response is not anger. It is distance. You don't argue. You don't justify. You don't defend your worth. You simply remove access. Because the first sign someone wants to destroy you is that they are trying to make you smaller without ever appearing to touch you. 2. They enjoy your confusion. There is something deeply unsettling about not knowing where you stand. And some people thrive in that space. They don't attack you openly. They don't clearly support you either. Instead, they keep you suspended, uncertain, questioning, off balance. One day they agree with you. The next day they subtly contradict themselves. When you seek clarity, they respond with vagueness. "I never said that." "You misunderstood me." "That's not what I meant." And suddenly, the conversation shifts. It's no longer about what they did, it becomes about whether you are remembering things correctly. This is not accidental. A person who wants to destroy you understands a powerful truth. Confusion weakens faster than criticism ever could. When you're confused, you hesitate. When you hesitate, you second guess. And when you second guess long enough, you stop trusting your own judgment. Stoic philosophy warns against this state above almost all others. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a disturbed mind is a weakened one, not because the world is chaotic, but because the mind has lost its anchor. And that's exactly what this person is trying to take from you. They don't want conflict. Conflict can be resolved. They want mental fog. Notice the pattern. Whenever you try to define the relationship, the boundary, or the issue, they blur it. Whenever you ask a direct question, they answer indirectly. Whenever you seek resolution, they introduce ambiguity. Over time, you begin to doubt not just them, but yourself. You replay conversations, you analyze tone, you question your memory. And while you're busy sorting through confusion, they are calm. Because confusion gives them power. A confused person is easier to influence, easier to manipulate, easier to exhaust. The Stoics understood that clarity is not just comfort, it is strength. Epictetus taught that when you lose clarity over what is in your control, you become vulnerable to those who wish to dominate your inner world. Here is the Stoic correction. Stop chasing clarity from the person causing the confusion. That is the trap. They will never give you a straight answer, because your uncertainty benefits them. Instead, return to what the Stoics always emphasized, your own observations. What happens after you interact with this person? Do you feel grounded or mentally scattered? Do you feel stronger or diminished? Do you feel clearer or more uncertain than before? These effects matter more than any explanation they offer. A Stoic does not need verbal confirmation to trust reality. They trust patterns of impact. And once you see that someone consistently leaves you confused, the response is not to confront. It is to simplify. Less explanation, less engagement, less emotional access. Because clarity is not something you beg for, it is something you protect. And the second sign someone wants to destroy you is that they are comfortable watching you lose your footing, as long as they remain standing. 3. They compete with you in disguise. Not all competition announces itself. The most dangerous kind hides behind encouragement. They applaud you, but never fully. They support you, with conditions. They congratulate you, while quietly measuring themselves against you. At first, it feels flattering. They seem interested in your progress. They ask questions. They stay close. But over time, a strange pattern appears. Your wins make them uncomfortable. Your growth changes their tone. Your momentum creates tension they never openly admit. This is not friendship. It is comparison wearing a mask. A person who wants to destroy you doesn't need to outrun you. They just need to slow you down, so they begin competing quietly. They mirror your goals. They downplay your achievements. They subtly redirect conversations back to themselves. As when you succeed, they respond with faint praise. When you struggle, they lean in with interest. And that reaction tells you everything. Stoic philosophy warns that comparison is one of the fastest ways to lose inner freedom. Not because others compare themselves to you, but because you allow their reactions to matter. This kind of person studies your progress not to learn, but to protect their ego. They don't ask, "How can I improve?" They ask, "Am I falling behind?" And when the answer threatens their self-image, they adapt, not by growing, but by reframing your success. They call your discipline obsession, your confidence arrogance, your standards unrealistic. Not openly, just enough to plant doubt. The goal is simple: If they can't surpass you, they'll try to redefine what winning means. And this is where many people make a mistake. They confront, they explain, they seek reassurance. A Stoic does none of that, because a Stoic understands something crucial. True competition requires consent. If someone is competing with you without your participation, you're already ahead. The real danger isn't their comparison. It's when you start adjusting your pace, your voice, or your ambition to keep them comfortable. That's when you've entered their game. Here is the Stoic correction. Stop performing your growth where insecure eyes can watch. Not everything needs to be shared. Not every win needs an audience. Not every plan deserves exposure. Privacy is not secrecy. It is self-preservation. When you notice someone who supports you only as long as you don't outshine them, the response is not confrontation. It is distance and discretion. You don't shrink. You don't slow down. You don't explain your ambition. You simply stop giving them a front row seat. Because the third sign someone wants to destroy you is that they are invested in your progress. Not to celebrate it, but to make sure it never surpasses their comfort. 4. They feed on your emotional reactions. Some people don't want your success. They want your reaction. They poke, they provoke. They apply pressure just enough to disturb your inner balance. And when you finally respond, even slightly, they watch closely. Not with concern, with satisfaction. A person who wants to destroy you understands something most people miss. Emotional reactions are leverage. They don't need to control your actions if they can control your emotions. Because once your emotions are compromised, your decisions follow. Notice the pattern. They bring up sensitive topics at the wrong time. They challenge you publicly but apologize privately. They question your tone instead of your point. And when you react, frustration, defensiveness, anger, the focus shifts. Suddenly, you are the problem. Your reaction becomes the story. Your emotional response becomes their shield. This is not coincidence. Stoic philosophy teaches that the moment you lose control of your inner state, you hand power to whoever provoked it. Epictetus warned that no one can harm you without your participation. And emotional reaction is participation. That's why these people keep pushing. They study what triggers you. They repeat it. They escalate slowly, not to resolve anything, but to extract a reaction. Because reactions do 3 things for them. First, they drain your energy. Second, they destabilize your clarity. Third, they justify future behavior against you, and all the while, they remain calm. That calm is not strength. It is practice. They've learned that if they stay composed while you react, now they appear reasonable, and you appear unstable. This is where many people fail. They believe silence means weakness. They believe responding proves confidence. They believe defending themselves restores balance. Stoicism teaches the opposite. What you don't react to, you control. Non-reactivity is not passivity. It is discipline. It means you observe without absorbing. You hear without internalizing. You remain steady while others try to pull you off center. Here is the Stoic correction. Stop rewarding provocation with attention. No explanations, no emotional defenses, no visible agitation. When someone realizes they can't get a reaction from you, their strategy collapses. Because they were never interested in dialogue, they were interested in dominance. And dominance requires emotional access. And a Stoic protects that access fiercely. You don't become cold, you become selective. You decide who gets to influence your inner world and who doesn't. And when you consistently deny emotional reactions to someone who feeds on them, one of 2 things happens. They escalate, revealing themselves, or they retreat, losing interest. Either way, you gain clarity. Because the 4th sign someone wants to destroy you is that they are invested in disturbing your peace. Not to solve a problem, but to feel powerful while you lose control. 5. They isolate you from support. Destruction becomes much easier when you're alone, and a person who wants to destroy you knows this. They don't attack your strength directly. They go after the people and structures that reinforce it. At first, it sounds like concern. I don't trust them. They don't really have your best interests at heart. I just think you should be careful who you listen to. It feels protective, almost thoughtful, but slowly, a pattern emerges. They question your friend's intentions. They downplay your mentor's guidance. They frame your support system as naive, biased, or dangerous. Not all at once. Piece by piece. Stoic philosophy has always warned that isolation is one of the oldest tactics of manipulation, because perspective collapses when there's no one to reflect it back to you. And a person who wants to destroy you doesn't want you thinking independently. They want you thinking alone. Notice how it happens. They discourage you from sharing your struggles with others. They suggest that outsiders wouldn't understand. They position themselves as the only reliable voice, and slowly, your world narrows. You stop checking in with people who ground you. You hesitate to ask for advice. You begin filtering your decisions through a single lens, theirs. This is not closeness. It is control through dependency. The Stoics understood that strength is reinforced through community, reflection, and reasoned dialogue. Even Marcus Aurelius surrounded himself with teachers, advisors, and reminders of virtue. Not because he was weak, but because he valued clarity over ego. Isolation removes that clarity. When you're isolated, the doubts grow louder, mistakes go unchallenged, emotional manipulation becomes harder to detect, and that's exactly what benefits the destroyer. They don't need to overpower you if they can cut you off. Here's the Stoic correction. Never allow one person to become your only mirror. If someone consistently encourages distance between you and people who have historically strengthened you, that is not protection, that is a warning. A Stoic maintains at least one external anchor, a person, a practice, or a principle that exists outside any single relationship. Someone who truly wants the best for you does not fear your support system. They respect it. They don't isolate you from wisdom. They add to it. When you notice someone subtly steering you away from those who ground you, the response is not confrontation. It is reconnection. You rebuild contact. You reopen dialogue. You widen your perspective again, because isolation thrives in silence, and clarity returns through connection. And the fifth sign someone wants to destroy you is that they try to make sure when you fall, no one is standing close enough to help you back up. 6. They pretend to be concerned. Not all attacks come with aggression. Some come wrapped in concern. I'm just worried about you. I say this because I care. I don't want to see you get hurt. On the surface, it sounds kind, responsible, even protective, but something feels off. After these conversations, you don't feel stronger, you feel smaller, your confidence dips, your certainty weakens, your ambition suddenly feels risky. That's not coincidence. A person who wants to destroy you understands a dangerous truth. Concern is the perfect disguise for control, because concern lowers your guard. When someone attacks you openly, you defend yourself. When someone claims to care, you listen. And that's where the damage begins. Notice the pattern carefully. Their concern always points in one direction, toward limitation. So they question your decisions, but never empower them. They highlight risks, but never solutions. They emphasize what could go wrong, but never what could go right. You might be aiming too high. That seems unrealistic. I just don't want you to embarrass yourself. People might judge you for that. Each sentence sounds reasonable, but stacked together, they create fear, and fear is the opposite of growth. Stoic philosophy makes a clear distinction here. True care strengthens character. False concern weakens it. Seneca warned that some people don't wish to protect you. They wish to keep you within reach. A person who truly wants your well-being helps you expand your capacity to endure risk, uncertainty, and responsibility. A person who wants to destroy you does the opposite. They magnify danger. They shrink possibility, so they train you to doubt yourself, all while claiming to act in your best interest. And because they never raise their voice, because they never insult you directly, their influence goes unquestioned. This is where many intelligent people fall into the trap. They assume kindness equals safety. They confuse calm tone with good intent. They mistake emotional softness for wisdom. Stoicism teaches restraint, not fragility. A Stoic does not avoid risk to feel safe. They prepare themselves to withstand it. So here is the critical Stoic question. After listening to this person, do you feel more capable or more afraid? Fear disguised as concern is still fear, and fear, when repeated, becomes self-censorship. You start delaying decisions. You lower your standards. You talk yourself out of action before the world ever challenges you. At that point, the destroyer no longer needs to intervene. You're doing the work for them. Here is the Stoic correction. Judge advice by its effect, not its tone. Advice that genuinely cares about you does not drain courage from your system. It sharpens judgment while preserving confidence. It says, be careful, and here's how to be stronger. Not, be careful, maybe you shouldn't try at all. A Stoic also understands this. Not everyone deserves access to your doubts. When someone consistently uses your vulnerabilities as entry points to inject fear, the response is not emotional confrontation. It is selective disclosure. You stop sharing unfinished plans. You stop exposing fragile momentum. You stop explaining your vision to someone who keeps framing it as danger. Because concern that consistently leads you away from growth is not protection. It is containment. And the sixth sign someone wants to destroy you is that they keep you feeling safe, while quietly teaching you to fear your own potential. 7. They never want resolution. Nothing exposes intention more clearly than what someone does when given the chance for peace. A person who merely dislikes you wants distance. A person who is angry wants release. But a person who wants to destroy you wants something else entirely. They want the conflict to never end. At first, you believe the tension is temporary. You think, if we talk this out, it'll be fine. You assume misunderstanding. You expect maturity, but notice what actually happens. Every time you try to resolve the issue, the goalpost moves. Every time you clarify, a new problem appears. Every time you apologize, it's not enough. There is always another grievance, another interpretation, another reason why peace must wait. This is not poor communication. This is strategy. And a person who wants to destroy you does not benefit from resolution. Because resolution returns you to stability. And stability gives you strength. They benefit from keeping you in a permanent state of tension, unsettled, alert, emotionally taxed. Stoic philosophy has always warned against this trap. Marcus Aurelius wrote that prolonged disturbance of the mind is more damaging than a single blow. Not because pain is unbearable, but because uncertainty drains endurance. This is why they never want closure. Closure frees you. Unresolved tension binds you. Notice the pattern closely. When you seek clarity, they accuse you of being defensive. When you seek peace, they say you're avoiding accountability. When you set boundaries, they frame you as cold or selfish. No matter what you do, the conflict survives. Because the conflict is not the problem. It is the tool. As long as the issue remains unresolved, they retain leverage. You keep thinking about them. You keep replaying conversations. You keep questioning whether you've done enough. And slowly, your inner world becomes occupied territory. This is where many strong people break. Not because they are weak, but because they are conscientious. They believe responsibility will restore harmony. They believe patience will be rewarded. They believe effort will be recognized. The destroyer exploits this. They rely on your integrity to keep you engaged. Stoicism draws a hard line here. Not every conflict deserves resolution. Some conflicts exist precisely because resolution would remove control. The Stoic understands that peace is not negotiated with someone who profits from chaos. This is the most difficult realization, because it requires letting go of the idea that understanding will fix everything. Sometimes, understanding only reveals that distance is the solution. Here is the critical Stoic insight. If someone consistently resists closure, they are not seeking truth. They are preserving access to your attention and emotional energy. And attention is power. This is why they keep conversations circular, why they reopen old wounds, why they reinterpret past events endlessly. Not to heal, but to keep you psychologically entangled. The Stoic correction is not dramatic. It is final. You stop trying to resolve what is designed to persist. You stop explaining yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you. You stop negotiating peace with someone who feeds on unrest. This is not cruelty. It is self-command. Epictetus taught that freedom begins the moment you stop trying to control what does not belong to you, including another person's willingness to be reasonable. Resolution requires two participants acting in good faith. If one refuses, the Stoic chooses exit over exhaustion. That exit may be emotional before it is physical. It may be silence before distance. It may be indifference before separation. But it is deliberate. And once you withdraw from the endless cycle, something profound happens. Your mind clears, your energy returns, your focus sharpens. Not because the other person changed, but because you reclaimed sovereignty over your inner state. This is why this sign is the most dangerous. Because as long as you believe resolution is possible, you remain engaged. And engagement is exactly what the destroyer needs. But the moment you accept this truth, that someone who never wants peace is someone you must stop offering it to, their power collapses. They cannot destroy what they can no longer access. And the final sign someone wants to destroy you is that they keep you fighting for closure in a war they never intend to end. And here is the part most people struggle to accept. When you finally stop engaging, when you stop explaining, when you stop trying to end things properly, they often become louder. Not because they want peace, but because they are losing access. This escalation is not proof that you were wrong. It is proof that withdrawal works. Stoic philosophy reminds us that a disturbed person reacts most aggressively when their influence fades. They accuse, they rewrite the story. They provoke one last time. This is the final test. A Stoic does not respond to the final test. They hold the line. Because once you understand that endless conflict was never about resolution, you stop chasing the illusion of closure. You realize that peace does not require agreement, only detachment, and the moment you stop feeding a conflict that was designed to drain you, you don't just escape destruction. You reclaim command over your life. Recognizing these signs isn't about fear. It's about self-command. Not everyone who stays close wishes you well. Not every smile signals loyalty. And not every conflict deserves your energy. Stoicism was never about hardening your heart. It was about protecting your inner world from those who would misuse it. When you see these patterns clearly, you stop reacting. You stop explaining. You stop offering access to people who thrive on your confusion, your doubt, and your emotional effort. You don't fight them. You don't expose them. You simply outgrow their reach. Because a person who wants to destroy you can only do so as long as they have a seat in your mind. Once that seat is removed, their influence collapses. Choose clarity over chaos, distance over drama, self-respect over endless explanation. And remember this: the strongest move is not confrontation, it's withdrawal with dignity. If this resonated, comment, "I choose clarity."